Working with conveyancers and lawyers. When working with legal professionals, there's so many different things to consider. Price, service, thoroughness, efficiency, and the list goes on. But when you're thinking about it, I've actually personally used lawyers and conveyancers many times for myself, as well as worked with many for my clients. And I've noticed a few things to consider as part of that working relationship. Number one is I've seen certain transactions carry a cost of say $800 to $1,100. Then I've seen others carry a cost of say $1,200 to $1,500. Then I've seen others go up to $2,500. Now, when I looked at across these three, price doesn't always represent value. So just because you're paying more doesn't mean you're getting more. But what I have noticed is there are 3 or 4 elements that are consistently changing between different lawyers and conveyancers when you're working with them. Now, if you're working with someone, when you're thinking of what does a really professional investor expect or have on their side that helps them, get the right type of team around them, here are some of the things to consider. Number one is responsiveness. Responsiveness is crucial. When you're looking to invest in property, sometimes before buying, the timeline can be extremely tight. During buying, again, extremely tight. And once you've exchanged to settlement, there might be certain deadlines to hit and certain checks to carry out. So responsiveness is the most crucial part. Getting someone who can pick up your phone calls, respond to your emails, or at least get back to you at the close of business in all cases, right? Now, other than responsiveness, the next thing is, yes, sure, someone might be getting back to you quickly, but are they thorough? Now, with so many different state laws, so many different things to consider during the journey of buying property, and so many different things from things with your title, the property itself, finance, certain planning rules and regulations, there are so many things that the lawyer needs to consider as well as the contractual document in front of you. When that process is happening on, they might be fast to get back to you, but also the thoroughness of what is being checked, why is it being checked? So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is about efficiency. Whilst you might have responsiveness and you might have thoroughness, at the same time, property is a journey where it's very easy to be inundated with a lot of paperwork. Paperwork from the contractual period, paperwork from research and due diligence and what you're trying to look at. Paperwork from the banks. The last thing you want is another person adding so much more paperwork to it. Now, I know some paperwork is going to be inevitable and you just have to have it, but I've seen working across different lawyers, some that just have a lot, some that condense, some that are very digitally driven, and they can have this range of experiences. So from that, those would be some of the top 3 things to consider: responsiveness, thoroughness, efficiency. Now, other parts to consider, which are side skills to add to it, are a bit of, tactical or strategic approaches. They might be part of your negotiation strategy for what clauses you may want to look into, how to best negotiate those clauses and request or word certain things in a way that are easier for the vendor or someone to respond and accept. So that's more of like a side skill that can be the cherry on the top to these 3 important skills. Number 5 is basically understanding where to look for long-term strategies. Some people might be completing the transaction for what it is now, a property purchase, and that's it. Where some people might look at it from your long-term strategy. Well, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you're buying for a long-term development strategy. Maybe did you consider these as part of the checks at the time of buying? So when you think of these 5 core things when working with lawyers and conveyancers as a professional investor, these things are responsiveness, thoroughness, efficiency, tactical strategies and negotiation, and then long-term strategic thinking with regards to you and what you want to do. Now, some lawyers may produce this at that lower price point, some may not. Some may produce it at that middle range. But the key thing is, price doesn't always represent value, but if you start to see some of these things not included on one end and they are on the other, maybe the price does sort of represent some sort of value. That's it from us here at InvestorKit, the experts in wealth creation, helping you take action.